Hello listeners and welcome to this week's recording of Boomerang. Team 5 today is made up of Claire, Rosemary and John, who's stepping in to help like the good soul he is, and our technician today is Aidan. The news this week is taken with permission from the West Lothian Courier dated the 27th of November 2025. As usual, the news will be broken into parts, and can I remind you, when you have listened to the whole recording, please post your wallet back to us from a post box and not the post office. Now, we'll start part 1 with the general news. And the first item is the headline item in the paper. It says, Mum's heart gives up, months after beating rare cancer, and is by Fionnuala Boyle. A mum of 5 from West Lothian has died after her heart gave way just months after beating a rare breast cancer. Cheryl McClimate from Falthouse, aged 38, died on November the 3rd from an underlying heart condition. Cheryl's heart suffered an arrhythmia, an abnormal heart rhythm where the heart beats too fast, too slow, or too irregularly due to a disruption in the heart's electrical signals. Claire had just beaten triple-negative breast cancer. She was diagnosed in 2023 and fought the disease until her death. On October the 22nd, Cheryl was found seizing on the couch by her partner Ali, who thought she was having a sleep. She was rushed to Ninewells Hospital in Dundee, where medics confirmed Cheryl's heart had suffered a sudden arrhythmia and the lack of oxygen had led to severe brain damage. She was put into a coma but passed away 12 days later. Tragically, Cheryl's passing was unexpected and unrelated to her cancer. Her family only found out she was cancer-free through medical tests carried out when she was in the hospital. Cheryl leaves behind her partner Ali, 40, children Chloe, 21, Dylan, 13, Mackenzie, 10 and Darcy, 4. Her daughter Kelsey was stillborn in 2012. She's also survived by her mum Janine, 58, her sister Kaylee and a wider family. Kaylee said, Ali wishes he couldn't have done more. Darcy keeps forgetting her mum is gone and carries a little photo of Cheryl everywhere she goes. Dylan celebrated his first birthday without Cheryl. He was so scared she was going to die of cancer. Mackenzie couldn't understand why her mum couldn't wake up. Chloe, the oldest, is helping Ali out with the children. They just want their mum back. Cheryl found a lump on her breast in May 2023, but didn't have any symptoms. After going to the doctors, she was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer in October 2023. Cheryl started a year's course of chemotherapy, immunotherapy and radiotherapy that month. In just a few weeks, her cancer had progressed from stage 2 to stage 4, but she responded extremely well to treatment. Cheryl was given the all clear at the start of 2025 and undertook 2 preventative surgeries, a lumpectomy, where part of the breast was removed, and a salinectomy to remove her fallopian tubes. Medics told Cheryl her cancer would come back, but never gave a prognosis. Kaylee went on, "We were so happy that we didn't need to worry about the cancer for a while. We knew, because of the type of cancer Cheryl had, and that it was stage 4, that it would come back, but her doctors told us she probably had about 5 years until that happened. We thought if she beat cancer once, she'd do it again." Cheryl's family will now go through testing to see if they have the same heart condition that took her life. Kaylee said, "Hearing that Cheryl was cancer-free when she died was such mixed emotions. We're so proud of Cheryl for beating cancer, but we're destroyed to learn her heart just stopped due to an underlying arrhythmia. Cheryl suffered headaches in the months before her death, but put it down to her cancer treatment. We're scared the condition runs in the family. We've seen it happen to Cheryl. One minute you're there and the next you're gone. The doctor said Cheryl's death could save our lives. We wouldn't have got tested otherwise. We urge people to check themselves for cancer and pay attention to any chest pains. We don't want Cheryl's death to be in vain."
Planning refusal leads to complaints of bias. A report from Stuart Somerville. The refusal for planning permission for a short-term let in a luxury housing complex in Livingston has been upheld. sparking complaints of bias by the owner. Wendy Harrison said the only difference between her flat and another, which is a short-term let, is that her correspondence address is in London, the other is in Edinburgh. But councillors backed planners who had rejected the application on the basis of the housing crisis declared by the council. Ms Harrison also questioned this assertion, claiming the properties in Deer Park, Livingston's most affluent area, valued £186,000 to £235,000, with rents around £1,150 per month. It is not suitable or designated for social or emergency housing. She had appealed to the local review body over a planning decision against her retrospective application to continue to use the flat at 16 Knightsbridge House, Watson Green in Livingston as a short-term let. Knightsbridge House is a converted and extended Category B listed building of 18 flats adjacent to the Deer Park Golf and Country Club in northern Livingston. Planners had refused permission, saying the operation of a short-term let has a detrimental impact on local amenity and significantly adversely impacts permanent residents with noise and disturbance travelling across the shared staircase and the building. The council has declared a housing emergency due to a lack of affordable homes and high number of homelessness across West Lothian. Therefore, sustaining existing housing stock is considered to be crucial to resolving those matters. Miss Harrison claimed this was unfair, as number 14, directly below her flat, has permission for short-term lease. In her submission to the LRB, she stated, "I have owned apartment 16 since 2001, 9 years longer than apartment 14, and operated as an STL since August 2021 with no objections or complaints." The officer erred in claiming apartment 14 had a separate entrance when both shared the same door. The property causes no housing policy harm as it is high-value private housing. The council holds no evidence that STL use increases footfall. Refusal is inconsistent, procedurally unfair and unsound, given apartment 14 was approved twice. Ms Harrison added the only apparent difference between the applications is the correspondence address of the applicants. Apartment 14 is in Edinburgh and mine is in London. This raises concerns of potential bias. A planning officer told the board that number 14 was granted temporary permission prior to the declaration of the housing crisis in the county. The current permission expires in May 2027. The LRB heard that the applicant had appealed against an early refusal to the Division of Planning and Environmental Appeals, the DPAA. In that case, the DPAA backed the council's refusal. Nevertheless, the applicant said she would again appeal to the DPEA should the committee refuse the latest appeal. A planning officer pointed out that the DPEA would not consider a decision made by the committee, and the only route of appeal would be on matters of law through judicial review. Councillor Willie Boyle told the meeting the temporary let that was granted to the neighbouring property was prior to the position we're in with housing. If we then granted a temporary accommodation for this application, then when the other one comes up for renewal, then there will be an argument to continue that one. We're in a housing crisis. I'm sorry, but I recommend the paper. Seconding the motion, Labour's Tom Collins said, "I think the fact that the housing emergency changes the way this property should be treated."
Livy Centre set for 3 new store openings, an article by Ross Thompson. The countdown is on for the opening of 3 new stores at the Centre Livingston this weekend. The Works opens its doors this Thursday, followed by Flying Tiger Copenhagen on the 28th, which is Black Friday, and Miniso on Saturday, November the 29th. The 3 new arrivals follow on from the recent opening of Wingstop and the Jewellers F. Hines at the Centre Livingston, which has over 150 shops and restaurants, including M&S, Flannels, River Island, JD Sports, Wagamama and Nando's, welcoming over 14.8 million visitors a year. The Works, which sells a wide range of books, art and craft supplies, stationery, toys and games, including stock and filler essentials, will open at 9 a.m. on Thursday, November the 27th. Visitors can enjoy live product demonstrations and free activity sheets and stickers for children. The opening of Flying Tiger Copenhagen the following day at 9 a.m. will be marked with an official celebratory ribbon ceremony.
with the first 200 customers receiving a complimentary goodie bag. The global Danish brand, which specialises in creating modern seasonal items and contemporary colourful everyday essentials, from homeware and stationery to toys and decorations, will also be running various promotions on the day and a spin-the-wheel competition to win prizes. The brand's mascot will also be making an appearance to entertain shoppers. Opening just in time for Christmas, visitors to the store will be able to pick up everything they need for the festive season, including stocking fillers, gadgets, games and sweet treats. The pop culture retailer Miniso will open the day after Flying Tiger Copenhagen on Saturday, November the 29th at noon, with goodie bags for the first 200 shoppers who spend £5, which are worth £25. There will also be a special visit from Miniso's mascot Pen Pen. The brand is known for its fun, colourful and trendy design-led lifestyle products, including unique collectibles, plush toys and figurines from brands like Hello Kitty, Harry Potter and Friends and its beauty and homeware range. The Centre Livingston, which is owned by LCP UK, part of MCore, one of Europe's leading privately owned commercial property development and management companies, has welcomed various other brands this year, including Starbucks, Auntie Anne's, Extra, and the country's first dark store, Arrowheads. Pizza Dogs and Cake Box is expected to open early next year, and Marble Buffet in the summer, which will be their first site in a Scottish shopping centre. The company is also planning to expand into the leisure sector with the opening of Hollywood Bowl in 2026, featuring 22 lanes, an arcade and a bar and diner. Michael Burke, Flying Tiger Copenhagen Managing Director UK and Ireland, said, "We're thrilled to be opening our new store at the Centre Livingston just in time for the festive season. It's a perfect opportunity to bring a unique mix of fun, creative and affordable products to even more shoppers. We look forward to welcoming customers in to explore the range and find everything they need to make this Christmas a bit more magical." Simon Itoch, Director of LCP UK, part of MCore and Asset Manager of the Centre Livingston, added, "We are really looking forward to welcoming 3 new brands to the Centre Livingston, The Works, Flying Tiger Copenhagen and Miniso, which is great timing just ahead of Christmas. Alongside our existing mix of great places to shop and dine out, which has been enhanced even more this year with many exciting new arrivals, we are confident all 3 new openings will be a big hit with our shoppers."
This next item is headed Scout Group Marks 10th Anniversary and is by Ross Thompson. A West Lothian Scout group that welcomes 70 children aged 5 to 14 each week is celebrating its 10th anniversary. The 33rd West Lothian Scouts, based in Winchborough, was established in 2015, 3 years after the £1 million development of Scotland's fastest growing town started. It marked a decade of success with a camp at Loch Goilhead, with dozens of members enjoying activities and a 2-night stay in Argyll. The group has established itself as an integral part of the community, with up to 70 children meeting every Friday at Winchborough Community Centre and enjoying excursions and residential trips throughout the year. 18 dedicated volunteer leaders and assistants help to run the Beavers, Cubs and Scout sections. Liz O'Rourke, Cubs team member, has led Cubs for the past 9 years. "It's a fantastic thing to be part of," she said. "When you see the young people growing and thriving, getting to take part in activities, learning new skills that they perhaps never would have had the opportunity to do. There are so many things that I've learned because I have to teach the young people. However, I still can't tie a knot." Winchborough Development Limited, WDL, the lead developer supporting the growing community, has supported the group in a variety of ways in the last 10 years, and this year was delighted to support the 10th anniversary trip. WDL is currently helping facilitate funding to bring forward much-needed container storage facilities to help the troop cope with the growing demands. "We rely on grants and funding from other organisations, so what Winchborough Development has given to us is brilliant," said Liz. "We've been desperately in need of new storage for quite some time, and to have something that's going to be at the back of our hall will be even better for us to easily access all of our equipment. We appreciate all the support Winchborough Development has given us since the start. We've been working alongside them for a number of years and they've been very generous over that time. Owen, 10, a pupil at Winchborough Primary School, started by attending as a beaver and is now a cub and a proud owner of the highest honour available, earning a silver medal. He said, "I thought beavers would be really strict like the army before I started, but it's not. It's really fun. I've learned how to tie knots, how to cook, I can make eggs, and do challenges as a group, like orienteering, but sometimes to be on my own, like when we went to camp for 2 nights. 17-year-old Mia joined the group aged 10 as a cub and has now returned to the group as a volunteer leader. She said, "When I moved to Winchborough from Edinburgh, I tried both cubs and girl guides, and I preferred the cubs a lot more because it was just more inclusive to everyone. I felt like I had lots of responsibility and there were so many opportunities to learn new things. I thought I'd like to come back to be a leader because it would be a really great experience and working with children is something I've always wanted to do." Looking ahead to the next 10 years, Liz said, "It'll be amazing to see where the group goes from here, continuing onwards and upwards." Penny Lockhead, Community, Green Space and Sport Manager from Winchborough Developments, who works closely with the group, said, "Having watched the Scouts grow from early days, it's incredible to see that now, 10 years later, and knowing some of the young people have come through from beavers to Scouts, it's testimony to all the incredible volunteers involved. It was a joy to see them all at their celebrations earlier this month and pass on our congratulations to them all. We are excited to see how the next 10 years develops. As the village grows, no doubt the Scouts will too."
The next article is about an online pet show which raised charity cash. West Lothian vets ran an online pet show to celebrate Breast Cancer Awareness Month and raise money for the Breast Cancer Now charity. The online pet show, organised by Westport Vets in Lithgow, received just shy of 100 entries and raised £380 for Breast Cancer Now. The event's Judge of Honour, Angela Moran, and her dog Fig judged the dog show category, picking the winner. The cat show category was narrowed down to 4 finalists by the Westport team, and Angela and Fig picked a winner. Westport Vet's Senior Vet and Managing Director, Stuart McMorrow, picked a winning pet crowned Best in Show. Karina Schmid, Community Development Nurse at Westport Vets, said, "For the past 7 years, Westport have taken part in the Wear It Pink Day for breast cancer inside the practices with a digital version during the pandemic. We thought we would try something a little different this year, which wouldn't limit those wanting to get involved needing to visit the practice to take part. To honour our Wear It Pink regular supporters, we decided to invite them to be a part of the online show version as Judge of Honour. Angela and Fig are always so much fun at Wear It Pink's events. They even made it to the practice to show their support the year we had a really bad storm all day. The online pet show has been a great success. We're thrilled at how popular it has been and the generosity of donations has been amazing." Judge of Honour Angela added, "Fig and I were very honoured to be asked to judge the pet show. We did find it difficult to choose a winner, though, as all of the entries showed pets who were beautiful, energetic, fun, happy, cute, friendly and enjoying life. In our eyes, they were all winners. We were grateful to have so many to choose from. Fig is a bundle of energy, always with a wagging tail and a playful glint in her eyes. She loves all interactions with fellow dogs and humans, especially if she can smell a treat in their pocket. Fig loved being involved in the judging process. She looked at the screen with a questioning look. We enjoyed looking over them time after time, looking for the personality we could see in each pet. They are all individuals and bring their own special traits to their photographs. We felt like we knew each pet by the time we made our decision. Choosing a winner was difficult. We loved each and every pet."
This next article is by Stuart Somerville and entitled "Council Leads Funding Fight for New Station." And it's accompanied by a picture of the design for the new station at Winchborough. West Lothian Council has led an application to secure funding for a new railway station at Winchborough. The bid to the Scottish Government is a crucial step in the development of a new station for West Lothian. Train operator ScotRail welcomed the bid. While no figure has been mentioned, evidence from other new stations opened in Scotland suggests development costs could be around 15 to the 20 million mark. On the drawing board for more than a decade, station plans were approved by the Council last month to bring commuter services to the rapidly expanding community. The Council has now submitted the funding request with the support of its partners in Winchborough Developments Limited, the Edinburgh and South East Scotland City Region Joint Committee, the South East of Scotland Transport Partnership, Network Rail, Transport Scotland and ScotRail. The request identifies the City Region deal's commitment of at least 50 million to support delivery of 7 strategic housing sites, including Winchborough, as a potential funding source, although partners have also indicated their willingness to pursue alternative Scottish Government funding routes if required. The funding bid is supported by the City Region deal. City Region deals are packages of funding agreed between the Scottish Government, the UK Government and local partners. They are designed to bring about long-term strategic approaches to improving regional economies, aiming to help harness additional investment, create new jobs and accelerate economic growth. The request for funding follows on from the granting of planning permission for the station in October. The request is underpinned by an outline business case demonstrating the strong transport and economic benefits this new station will deliver, from improved connectivity to major reductions in car-based commuting. The outline business case projects that by 2030 around 625 passengers will use the station each day. It also shows exceptionally strong value for money, with a cost-benefit ratio of 2:1 before any passenger revenue is counted, rising to between 4.26 and 5.6 when the revenue generated by the station is included. The new station will also bring benefits to surrounding towns. Linlithgow has had to cope with rising parking problems as more people use the station to commute. Commenting on the submission of the funding bid, the leader of West Lothian Council, Lawrence Fitzpatrick, said, "We all want to improve our local economy and grow opportunity and investment in West Lothian, and this is a significant step forward. It's extremely encouraging to see this project continuing to move forward at pace this year, which reflects a positive collaboration between all parties. A station would bring lasting benefits to Winchborough and surrounding communities." John Hamilton, CEO of Winchborough Developments Limited, added, "Today's funding submission is a really important moment for Winchborough and for the wider region. We have invested heavily in the infrastructure needed to support one of Scotland's fastest growing communities, and a new station is a final critical piece in that transport jigsaw. A rail connection will give residents quicker, cleaner journeys, reduce pressure on local roads and help unlock further jobs and investment. In planning and delivery terms, the project is ready to proceed if full funding is secured. We're looking forward to continuing to work with West Lothian Council, the Scottish Government and our transport partners to turn this long-held ambition for a station into reality." Phil Campbell, ScotRail Customer Operations Director, said, "ScotRail welcomes the progress being made by West Lothian Council and partners as they take this next step in the development of proposals for a station at Winchborough. Improving connectivity and supporting sustainable travel across Scotland's railway are important priorities for ScotRail, and we will continue to engage constructively with all parties as the plans progress." Chairs of the ESESCR Joint Committee, Edinburgh Councillor Jane Meagher, added, "In Scotland's fast-growing region, with significant new housing being built, we must ensure that people are given the option to travel sustainably for work and education. Rail is one of those sustainable options. Winchborough Railway Station will improve local connectivity and support people to take the train instead of their car, whilst also contributing to sustainable economic growth. This investment represents an important step forward in achieving our ambition of a more well-connected region."
And this brings us to the end of part 1. Welcome back to part 2. We'll start with the family announcements and then continue with the news. The first one is Swan, Hugh, Blackburn. Peacefully at Tippett Hill Hospital on Tuesday the 18th of November 2025, Hugh, loving husband to Eleanor, beloved dad to Wendy and Graham, Dearly loved Grandad to Gemma, Nicole, Christopher and Rachel, and great-granddad to Reuben, a dear brother to Evelyn, and a much-loved father-in-law to Andrew and Sharon. At Hugh's request, a private funeral will be held. And the next item is an in memoriam. Robertson, Rita. In loving memory of our Rita. We miss her more than words can ever say, and we would give anything to hear her voice once more or feel the comfort of her hug. Rita was not only the heart of our family, but also the light that guided us through life. As a devoted wife, a loving mum, and a cherished gran, she gave us strength, laughter, and endless love. Her kindness and warmth touched everyone who knew her, and her memory continues to live on in the stories we share and the lessons she taught us. Though she's no longer here, the love she gave us remains, wrapping round us every day and reminding us how lucky we were to call her ours. And now we continue with the general news. This item is headed Changes to Festive Bin Collections and is by Ross Thompson. West Lothian residents are being advised over changes to bin collections over the festive period. There will be no grey, blue or grey bin collection on Christmas Day and Boxing Day and New Year's Day and January the 2nd due to public holidays. Residents whose collections are due on these days should put them out on the following Monday, so either Monday, December the 29th, or Monday, January the 5th instead. Bins will be collected over the course of the week, so please leave them out until they're emptied. No brown bin collections will take place over the 2-week festive period, with the last collections on Christmas Eve, and the service resuming on Thursday, January the 8th. Less garden waste in winter means households should have enough space capacity in their brown bins to miss one collection, which will allow resources to be prioritised on grey, blue and green bin collections. Please note that brown bin collections for those who hold garden waste permits are also suspended over the festive period. All other collections are as scheduled, and to check for your collection dates or sign up for useful email reminders, please visit the Council's website at www.westlothian.gov.uk/bins. Bins should be by the curbside by 7 a.m. on collection day, and they should be left out until they're emptied. Please make sure that only the correct items are placed in your recycling bin, and all items in the blue and green bins should always be empty, clean and dry.
Get tough fines and cameras are options. A report from Stuart Somerville. Statutory fines and cameras in communal bin areas are among the get tough options West Lothian will have to consider. New Holyrood rules will likely bring in fines as legislation demands more recycling. And West Lothian is keen to stress that the more it can recycle, the better off it will be, generating more cash rebates and cutting costs of waste collection and landfill. Councillors heard from senior waste management officers at a meeting of the Performance Committee. Bin contamination remains the biggest problem facing the council in the more than 4 million bin uplifts it carries out each year. Welcoming improvements, Councillors Danny Logue and Carol John raised the persistent problems with communal bins in Craigshill, Livingston, and how some neighbours persistently ignored warnings about contamination and fly tipping. Craigshill has also become the target for travelling fly tippers. Councillor John highlighted instances of firms travelling from Edinburgh to tip rubbish in the area. Councillor Logue asked, could you put cameras into these locations? Scott Anderson, the council's recycling and waste manager, commented, we are looking at funding streams to put cameras into what we call hotspot areas where we are finding there is excess waste or where there's third parties using bins that they shouldn't be using. For any avoidance of doubt, we have a duty of care as a local authority to provide recycling to every resident in West Lothian. We need to try to get this right. If we get the hotspots where people are fly tipping or using the bins for commercial waste, then we need to be catching these people, and you're right, the cameras will be the way to do it. A report to the committee said, overall, landfill and incinerated waste have decreased compared to the previous years, an increase in material being recycled. The household recycling rate has increased and tonnages are falling back to pre-pandemic levels, with people returning to the workplace. This has also been impacted by an economic downturn, resulting in less consumerism. The report added, however, contamination remains a major issue, resulting in the benefits not being fully experienced. As the plans stated above take effect, we should see that the trend going forward will be a decrease in contamination, which will be reflected in material, but also a potential income for the material disposed. Most recent figures show that the Council recycles 50.8% of its household waste. The introduction of the Circular Economy Act at the end of the year is intended to drive recycling rates higher. In his presentation to the committee, Mr Anderson said the legislation demanded significant behavioural change from residents and suggested that legislation could demand potential enforcement through statutory fines.
Join Will Aid campaign. Residents across West Lothian are being urged to take advantage of the final week of this year's Will Aid campaign. The annual charity initiative helps people to get their affairs in order while supporting good causes. Solicitors taking part in Will Aid 2025 have reported a surge in demand for appointments, with many already fully booked for November. But there are still appointments left. Peter Davina Franks, campaign director for Will Aid, said every year we see huge demand for Will Aid appointments, and with limited spaces left across Scotland, we're encouraging people to act now before they miss out. Through Will Aid, you can get expert support from a regulated solicitor and know that your donation will go directly towards helping some of the UK's best-loved charities. To find your nearest participating solicitor or book an appointment, visit www.willaid.org.uk or call 0300 0300 013.
This next item is headed Green Light is given for new local centre. The village of Stonyburn is to get a new community centre. Councillors on West Lothian's executive backed a £3 million plan to demolish the existing building and build a new centre as the best value option. Council leader Lawrence Fitzpatrick called it marvellous news. The village community education centre was closed in January 2024 after rack roofing planks in the building were found to have deteriorated. Since the centre has been closed, the majority of community groups and existing users which utilise the building have been able to find temporary alternative accommodation within the village, although some of the large-scale community events have had to stop due to lack of suitable space. In a report to the executive, David Baird, the councillor's property services manager, said demolition and replacement was considered the best option. The exact replacement design is still to be completed, but concept layout plans have been discussed with the management committee. The designs would provide a large hall capable of hosting community events and be suitable to accommodate ball sports for youth groups. Both designs include an on-site kitchen and a further small room for small groups to meet alongside other ancillary accommodation. Local councillor Craig Meek said, "I welcome this report. It's fantastic news for the community of Stonyburn and is a great example of the commitment that this council has to its communities and also to safeguard its community centres. I want to say a huge thank you to officers for pulling it together and the work you have done so far in terms of liaising with the current management committee and keeping local members up to date. I look forward to seeing it progress." For the SNP, Councillor Pauline Stafford said, "It's really positive that there's a solution has been found so quickly for Stonyburn. I think supporting community facilities is one of the best ways we have of addressing inequality, so I look forward to seeing it come forward." Councillor Fitzpatrick said, "It's marvellous news for Stonyburn. Can I say that it's been really dedicated, in-depth work by our officers, and I think we should thank them so much."
Next headline reads, Protect Pipes from Winter. Householders and businesses across West Lothian are being asked by Scottish Water to ensure their water pipes are protected from cold weather this winter and help minimise the risk of bursts and damage to property and reduce water losses. Property owners are being advised that preparing for sub-zero temperatures could prevent problems such as burst pipes and flooding, and all the inconvenience and expense they can cause, and help reduce the amount of water lost through leakage. Scottish Water's free text alert initiative to encourage customers to be aware of any potential disruption to services in their area and how to prepare for every eventuality has attracted 100,000 customers to sign up since its launch in 2024. And the utility is encouraging more people to do likewise and help ensure they are in the know as winter approaches. It is also continuing to ask West Lothian customers to remember that water is always worth saving and calling on them to save water by using washing machines and other household appliances only when full, taking shorter showers and repairing leaking toilets. Following a dry summer, some parts of the country still have reservoir levels that are about 25% below average for the time of year. Scottish Water is concerned that the winter and spring refill may not replenish levels enough, leading to greater water supply challenges next year. However, with attention being focused on the coming winter weather, the company is pointing out that when temperatures fall below zero, water in pipes can freeze, expand and then contract if the temperature rises, and this can cause them to crack or burst. Peter Farrer, Scottish Water's Chief Operating Officer, said, "It's sensible and prudent to prepare for the possibility of severe weather and the potential impact that it has on property."
MP resumes his Christmas card competition for pupils, an article by Ross Thompson. Gregor Ponton, MP, has announced the return of his annual Christmas card competition for primary school pupils across the Livingston constituency. This year's theme, Christmas on Your Street, invites young people to showcase how their families, neighbours and communities celebrate the festive season where they live. Last year's competition saw an incredible response with more than 300 entries submitted from schools across the Livingston constituency, including Pumferson and Uphall Station Community Primary School, Cedarbank School, East Calder Primary School and Dedridge Primary School. The standard of creativity and imagination was outstanding, with pupils producing a wonderful variety of festive designs. The 2024 competition awarded first place to Bruce Torres, a Primary 6 pupil at East Calder Primary, second place to Adam Ashraf, a P3 pupil at Cedarbank School, and third place to Quisma, a Primary 7 pupil at Pumferson and Uphall Station Community Primary School. All of the 300 entries received a certificate of participation from Mr Ponton. The winning design was proudly presented by Mr Ponton to the Speaker of the House of Commons, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, at Westminster, showcasing Livingston's young artistic talent on national stage. Following the success of last year's event, Mr Ponton is once again inviting every primary school in the Livingston constituency to take part. The winning design will appear on his official parliamentary Christmas card, which will be sent to constituents, community groups, local businesses and organisations across the area. Each entry should be hand-drawn and no larger than A5. The closing date for entries is Monday the 1st of December. Commenting on the competition, Mr Ponton said, "I was absolutely blown away by the creativity of last year's entries, with over 300 wonderful designs that truly captured the warmth and community spirit of Livingston at Christmas." This year's theme, Christmas on Your Street, is about celebrating how Christmas comes alive in our own neighbourhoods and homes. Whether it's lights on the street, families decorating together, or communities coming together to celebrate, I can't wait to see how our young people bring these moments to life. It's a real privilege to share the talents of our local pupils, and to see last year's winning card presented to the Speaker of the House of Commons was a special highlight. Primary schools across the constituency have been contacted with details on how to take part, but anyone interested should get in touch with their school or contact Mr Ponton's office directly for more information. Entries can be submitted through participating schools or posted to Gregor Ponton MP, Craigs Farm Campus, Marie Walk, Livingston, EH545BP, or scanned copies can be emailed to gregor.ponton.mp@parliament.uk.
Plans for polling districts set to be finalised. Plans for the new polling districts for next year's Holyrood elections are being finalised ahead of publication next month. West Lothian will have 3 MSPs after next May's elections, as a new constituency has been created in the Bathgate area. Labour veteran Linlithgow's Tom Conn branded the redraw a mopping up exercise after the town was tied to Falkirk in a new constituency. The new constituencies have stirred up controversy for the last 2 years. Initially, the Boundaries Commission suggested moving Falthouse and Whitburn into a new constituency based around Airdrie, 14 miles west in Lanarkshire. The changes were proposed to ensure that the new constituencies remained roughly equal with around 75,000 voters. West Lothian Council formally objected to this at an inquiry, and the plan was dropped after this and other local objections. The council criticised a new plan to push Linlithgow into a new constituency with Falkirk. This has now been formalised despite new objections from the council. The new Linlithgow constituency roughly reflects the boundaries of the former Westminster constituency up to the 2024 general election. The redraw will create 2 more polling districts in the Linlithgow ward. Councillors argued throughout the process that constituencies should reflect the natural boundaries and historic connections between communities rather than simply being a numbers game. And Councillor Conn reiterated his criticism at this month's meeting. He told the meeting, "The guidelines which are laid down seem to be very variable and very flexible. At one time, West Lothian was going to be part of Edinburgh, and Falthouse was going to be in Lanarkshire. Now, as far as my ward is concerned, the town of Linlithgow is in a Falkirk constituency, and the rural area is in a West Lothian constituency." This really highlights that the whole process needs to be reviewed, and it shouldn't just be on numbers. Perhaps the Scottish Parliament needs to review how this process is carried out. The guidelines should not be a mopping-up exercise as part of other constituencies. The Council's executive approved plans to rename polling districts for ballot papers ahead of maps being printed next month. A review of the polling places for the May the 7th Holywood election is now underway. The new Scottish parliamentary constituencies, covering West Lothian and Amman Valley, Livingston and rural areas to the south and east, Bathgate, covering the council ward and town and rural areas to the south and west, Falkirk East and Linlithgow occupying the town and rural areas along a narrow northern strip.
The next article is entitled "Keeping on Track to Support Food Train" and is by Ian Bunting. The kind-hearted team at Specsavers Home Visits business, which covers Edinburgh, the Lothians and the Scottish borders, have revealed an ongoing commitment to West Lothian charity Food Train, kick-starting the partnership with a £2,000 donation. The charity aims to help older people across the community, offering members practical support to eat healthier and live well through services such as grocery shopping deliveries, a meal sharing service and Friends, a befriending programme that offers older people the opportunity to take part in organised trips and outings. The group, which marked its 30th anniversary this year, is supported through the help of its volunteers and aims to support older people across Scotland, easing the strain on under-pressure health and social care services. To provide the shopping support, Food Train collects shopping lists for older members at the beginning of the week. Groceries are then packed into boxes at supermarkets, and volunteer drivers and helpers deliver them to homes, unpacking and putting away the goods if necessary. The £2,000 donation from Specsavers Home Visits supported Food Train's Boxtober fundraising campaign, through which more than 750 boxes were sponsored. The funds raised will help cover rising costs for fuel, delivery vans and the charity's office, staff and volunteers, enabling Food Train to continue supporting the independence, dignity and well-being of its older members. Lynn Siebelock, director at Specsavers Home Visits, first heard about the Food Train service while out caring for a customer. She said, "We were just about to do a hearing check and a lovely Food Train volunteer popped her head in to ask the customer about their shopping list. That's when I learnt about how valuable the Food Train service is for people who need support, such as our lovely customer, who had been unable to do these things for herself. It's great for people who are not tech-savvy and can't order their shopping online. It's also incredible that they offer a befriending service for those that are feeling lonely, with no family living nearby, as well as library and meal sharing service too. Our main goal at Specsavers Home Visits is to provide essential care to customers who, due to a multitude of reasons, are unable to pay a visit to a high street store to receive eye health and hearing services. So this partnership just made complete sense. Lorna Farker, Regional Manager of Food Train in West Lothian, added, "What we do isn't just about groceries and meals, it's about building trust and making people in our communities realise that they are not alone. Food Train is so much more than just a shopping service. Our volunteers make a difference to older people's health, well-being and independence. None of what we do would be possible without them and without donations, such as the kind one from the Specsavers Home Visits team." Later in the year, the Specsavers Home Visit teams are planning a festive treat in collaboration with Food Train, as well as committing to support the charity throughout 2026. For more information about Food Train and to learn about their services or to find out how to volunteer with the team, visit www.thefoodtrain.co.uk. To find out further details about the Specsavers Home Visit teams, head to https://www.specsavers.co.uk/home-eye-test/request a free home visit or call 0808 239 4492 to book a home visit.
116 charging points in area. Linlithgow MSP Fiona Hislop has highlighted new figures showing over 7,355 public electric vehicle EH charging points across Scotland, including 116 in West Lothian. Last year, Scotland reached its target of installing more than 6,000 public EV charge points, 2 years ahead of the 2026 target. This has been possible due to further investment from the SNP government, and the number has increased by 22.5% in the last year. Commenting, Ms Hislop said, "I welcome the news that there are now 116 public electric vehicle charge points working in West Lothian. West Lothian Council has recently received a share of £6.3 million in Scottish Government funding, which has been shared with 8 local authorities in the South of Scotland consortium. This funding has been provided to improve public charging infrastructure even further for electric vehicles across the region. By fast-tracking and investing in EV infrastructure, we're supporting people to make the choice to switch to EV cars to help reduce carbon emissions and so tackle the challenge of climate change."
And that brings us to the end of part 2. Welcome back to part 3, which includes the quiz. Remember to listen at the start of part 4 for the answers to the quiz. So here we go. We have 10 questions and Kokane, there are some tricky ones here. Number 1. In which European country is the city of Maastricht? A. Belgium, B. the Netherlands, C. France. Number 2. What drink is added to wine to make a traditional spritzer? A. Soda water, B. Lemonade, C. Orange juice. Number 3. What is a factotum? A. Coffee machine, B. An exact copy, C. A man of all work. Number 4. What's another name for a weevil? A. Snout beetle, B. Daddy longlegs, C. glowworm. Number 5. What does the word dichromatic mean? A. Active at night, B. Having 2 colours, C. Silent. Number 6. Which English novelist and journalist was born Mary Ann Evans in 1819? A. Wilkie Collins, B. George Eliot, and C. Thomas Hardy. Number 7. In football, Ewood Park is the home of which English club? A. Blackburn Rovers, B. Wigan Athletic, C. Bolton Wanderers. Number 8. Who directed the Oscar-winning 2017 American drama film Moonlight? A. Barry Jenkins, B. Mel Gibson, C. Kenneth Lonergan. Number 9. In which English county is the town of Stevenage? A. Berkshire, B. Bedfordshire, C. Hertfordshire. And finally, number 10. Speaking Out, Lessons in Life and Politics is the autobiographical memoir of which former MP? A. Ed Balls, B. Anne Widdecombe, C. Michael Portillo. Good luck, everyone. And now, as your wee extra challenge, our word challenge today is, can you tell what these words mean? The first word is hodierno, Hodiernal. Does it mean A, pertaining to the present day, B, living forever, C, a foolish person? And the second word, interscapular, Interscapular. A break in between, B, to cut across, C, between the shoulder blades. Good luck with those ones. And now back to the general news. And this item is headed White Delight as Snow Pantomime Set to Work, and is by Ross Thompson. West Lothian company Reconnect Theatres is proud to present the panto classic Snow White at the Reconnect Regal Theatre in Bathgate, which is opening on November the 29th. When Snow White's wicked stepmother, the evil queen of the land, finds out she will no longer be the fairest of them all, but instead it will be Snow White, she does everything in her power to get rid of her. Jealous of Snow White's beauty, the wicked queen sends a huntsman to fetch her heart, but when he meets Snow White, he may have other ideas. With help from some new pals she meets in the woods, Snow White looks to take the throne and rule the land with kindness and honesty. Will Snow White be able to avoid her wicked stepmother's plans and become fairest of them all? Will silly Susie help her best pal in the world? Will Dame Heidi-Ho find a new man? This production of Snow White features a cast of the finest talent Scotland has to offer. The cast is led by Molly Jameson, 9 to 5, Magic at the Musicals, in the title role, and returning favourite Lewis Carolyn as the huntsman. Joining them are Lisa McCafferty as the evil queen, Hamish Summers as Dame Heidi-Ho, and Katrina Lamb as comic Silly Susie. Katrina Lamb said, "I'm so excited to be returning for another year at the Reconnect Regal. Christmas is such a joyful time of the year, so what better way to spend it than on stage living in the panto magic. I'm excited to be working with the fantastic team again, the lovely cast and the wonderful kids ensemble. It's going to be magic." The panto runs from November the 29th through to December the 29th. For more information, visit linktr.ee/Reconnect Theatres.
Linlithgow is set for new council homes, with more than 1,000 sites earmarked in and around town. A report from Stuart Somerville. Sites for 90 new council homes have been identified in and around Linlithgow. More than 1,000 new homes could be built by the end of the decade across the county. But crucial to the plan is whether West Lothian can secure assured funding from Holyrood. In a report to the Council's executive, Marjorie Mackey, the Council's Housing Strategy and Development Manager, outlined plans for the latest Strategic Housing Investment Plan, SHIP, which the Council has to update every year until 2028. The West Lothian Affordable Housing Programme to 2027/28 includes sites for the development of a minimum 1,621 homes, including 383 additional council homes and 1,238 homes delivered by registered social landlords, RSL. Mrs Mackey told councillors the Scottish Government has been unable to confirm the resource planning assumptions for grant availability for the duration of this current Strategic Housing Investment Plan. The resource planning assumption for 2025/26 from the Scottish Government has been confirmed as £15.376 million, the same as the RPA in 2023/24. But with no indexation, this represents a net reduction of 6% in grant funding. The report added, at present the long-term funding position for affordable housing in West Lothian is not yet clear. An overall budget for affordable housing of £4.9 billion over the next 4 years for the whole of Scotland was announced by the Scottish Government in September 2025. The uncertainty of long-term funding makes it challenging to prioritise sites that have a funding commitment in future years or require phased funding over a number of years. In terms of priority areas, West Lothian Council has 116 units under construction and Wheatley Homes East have a further 74 underway in priority areas Livingston and Linlithgow. There are further 8 sites considered as Priority 1 within this year's SHIP in the ward areas of Livingston North, Livingston South and Linlithgow. In Linlithgow, various sites have been identified which together could deliver up to 90 homes. These include projected plans for 12 homes at Willowdean, Bridgend starting in 2026 and 40 homes in Old Hill Road starting in 2028/29. The report said there is high demand for housing in Linlithgow but very few development opportunities becoming available. The Council is considering development of affordable homes on a number of small sites on Council-owned land. At Whitburn, the development of the Distributor Road at Heartland site would help facilitate more development in this area. There is both social and mid-market rent development proposed for Heartlands, which could see 246 units delivered. The news of the identified sites was welcomed by Linlithgow Councillor Labour's Tom Conn. I just wanted to welcome the 15 houses being built at Deanburn. They will be occupied in January 2026. On the priority sites, the 2 sites in Bridgend, which will bring 52 houses. I think these developments would be welcomed in the Linlithgow ward and the communities involved. Chairing the meeting, Councillor Lawrence Fitzpatrick highlighted the provision of new wheelchair-accessible homes in Kirknewton earlier this year and plans for more properties in Linlithgow and Livingston. He said, I'm very, very pleased to note the paper which talks about growing provision of wheelchair-accessible homes. This has been an issue for some time. Last time we had details, there were over 300 on the list for wheelchair-accessible homes. It's a delight to see this coming to fruition.
Williamson Primary saddles up for award. Pupils praised after Bikeability Scotland Prize Glory. An article by Ian Bunting. Pupils at Livingston School saddled up for success after being crowned the Bikeability Scotland Awards School of the Year. The in-gear Williamson Primary youngsters proudly took delivery of the shiny trophy honouring their success. Now in its 5th year, the School of the Year Award was conceived by the judging panel to recognise a school that through dedication and commitment to cycling training had a unique or exceptional Bikeability Scotland journey in 2024 to 25. In awarding the prize, judges commented on Williamson Primary's commitment and dedication to ensuring that all pupils have the opportunity to participate in the programme. These include Level 2 training for all P7s, the offer of a fully inclusive training programme through provision of bikes, helmets and jackets, the involvement of the wider school community, including the investment of staff time in training as instructors, and the passionate advocacy of cycling as a model of active travel reflected in the number of pupils riding to school each day. A Cycling Scotland spokesperson added, in 2025, the annual Bikeability Scotland Awards are recognising and celebrating the tremendous amount of work that went on throughout the 2024 to 25 academic session. Across Scotland, our instructors and coordinators helped to ensure that thousands of children participated in Bikeability Scotland cycle training and benefited from the opportunity to develop essential life skills. In what was a very competitive field, it is my great pleasure to confirm that Williamson Primary School has been selected as the deserving winner of the Bikeability Award Scotland 2025 School of the Year. Dr Nina Saunders came to the school to present the trophy, and the pupils who completed Level 1 during their time in P6 will now proceed into Level 2 later this academic year while they're in P7, which will involve them learning how to cycle safely on the roads. Mary Shaw, Williamson Primary Administration Assistant and Bikeability Instructor, said, both class teacher Eva Petkova and I have been running Bikeability Level 1 and 2 with our pupils for over 10 years. Melly Hamilton had recently joined us, having completed her Bikeability Instructor training last year. We'd like to congratulate our fantastic pupils on their wonderful achievement. And the article is accompanied by a couple of pictures showing the Wilson Primary School and another showing the local children on their bikes.
This next item is headed College Welcomes Health Secretary Mr Gray. West Lothian College welcomed the Cabinet Secretary for Health and Social Care as part of Scottish Carers Week. Neil Gray, MSP, visited the Livingston campus to learn how the college is driving the development of skills and innovation for students from its SWAP access to nursing and HNC healthcare practice courses. Scottish Carers Week highlights the wide range of industries, career pathways and opportunities available across Scotland, as well as the support that helps individuals reach their full potential. This week also celebrates emerging sectors, evolving job roles and inspiring stories of people shaping their futures. During the visit, students showed Mr Gray a range of industry-relevant skills such as performing CPR, showcasing the use of virtual reality in learning and teaching, recording simulation data within a ward environment, and sharing insights gained through their work placements. Hazel Brady, principal of West Lothian College, said, "The visit was an incredible opportunity to showcase the talent, dedication and confidence of our students. They demonstrated not only the skills they have mastered through their learning, but also the passion that drives them towards careers in healthcare. Our students spoke with pride about what inspires them, the chance to make a real difference in people's lives, contribute to their communities, and be part of a sector that values compassion and excellence. Their enthusiasm and professionalism were evident throughout the visit, and we are proud to see them representing the future of healthcare. This visit reaffirmed the importance of investing in education and training for the next generation of healthcare professionals. We thank Mr Gray for taking the time to engage with our students and for recognising the vital role they will play in shaping the future of health and social care." And there's a lovely picture of Mr Gray with the students.
Designs on festive fun for all at Outlet. Livingston Designer Outlet has unveiled plans for its spectacular lineup of Christmas activities. Santa's Grotto has made its comeback and welcomes visitors on weekends until Black Friday, when it will then be open every day except for Mondays until Christmas Eve. Let Santa know your child's name and ideal present in advance, then watch their face light up when Santa knows them. Grab tickets for £7.50 whilst they last. This year, Livingston Designer Outlet will also have a giant human-sized snow globe fitting up to 8 people. Located inside next to Starbucks, you can be sure to get the perfect festive snap. The centre will also welcome back its much-anticipated winter market this festive season, popping up on December the 18th to 21st. With an array of stalls showing unique handcrafted goods, the market brings together local artisans and craftsmanship. Plus, the Isle of Barra, Isle of Razi and Mutaga rum distillers will be selling their Christmas tipples, including mulled wine, rum and whisky, keeping shoppers' spirits merry. The Giving Tree will be back once again, and this year supporting local children in need. Located next to guest services, shoppers can pick up a tag and buy a gift to aged 16 and place it in the donation box next to the Christmas tree to help those less fortunate this festive season. Michelle Whitelaw, Centre Director, said, "We're thrilled to be kicking off the festive season with a great lineup of Christmas activations."
Veteran volunteer retires after a long service. An article by Ross Thompson. A well-known West Lothian volunteer has officially retired from her role at West Calder Community Centre. Currently, Eileen Milne, MBE, is coordinator for a weekly seated exercise class with 50 members ranging from 60 to 93. In addition, she holds a Monday knitting club producing shawls and small blankets for local groups. But now Eileen has decided to hand over the baton after continuing her voluntary work in West Calder Community Centre since her retirement 20 years ago. Eileen believes community volunteering became part of her life's purpose. Keeping busy during your latter years is crucial both for your physical and mental well-being. Eileen was born in 1943 in Aberdeen, moving to Livingston in 1987. She became well known through her voluntary work with Barnardo's in Craigshill, Ageing Well and Dedridge Good Neighbourhood Network. In recognition for her voluntary work in the community, she was awarded an MBE in 2003 from the Queen at Buckingham Palace. Another award followed more than a decade later when she was named Volunteer of the Year by West Lothian Council in 2015. She travelled to Manchester in 2024 as a UK finalist in the Seriously Social Awards. Eileen accepted a presentation from Dorothy Mitchell and Jordan Stoke on behalf of West Calder Community Education Association, and the article is accompanied by a picture of Eileen receiving that award.
Tenants to have say on rent rises. West Lothian tenants are being asked their views on rent rises planned for next year. An annual rent rise of 3.5% per year was agreed over a 5-year period in 2023, and tenants will be asked to greenlight the rise, which will take the average rent over the £90 a week mark for the first time. The Council's executive is set to approve the 2-month survey Councillors on the Housing Services PDSP heard. The average weekly rent for homes is projected to be £92.26 in 26-27, up from £89.14 in 25-26. For garages, the weekly rent will rise to £6.94 in 26-27, up from £6.71 in 25-26. With difficult budget decisions looming, the 3.5% increase could be the only guaranteed rise come April. 2 years ago, the SNP opposition group argued its budget proposals to push up rents by 4.5% to secure more money for house building. After a decade of freezes, councils were given free rein to hike council tax in the 2025 budget. In West Lothian, it rose 8.95%. In some neighbouring authorities, it rose substantially more, and another hefty rise is expected in 2026. Households in East Lothian have already been asked for their views on a 10% hike. No figure has been discussed so far in West Lothian. In a report to the Housing Services, PDSP, Kirsty Weir, the Housing Department Performance and Change Manager, said, "The engagement will ask tenants if they remain satisfied with the rent strategy agreed upon in 2023. It is proposed that tenant engagement will occur over a 2-month period through social media channels, text messaging, the West Lothian Council website, and by letter for tenants aged 60 and over." Mrs Weir told councillors that the 3.5% 5-year rent strategy agreed in February 2023 will enable the delivery of a balanced housing revenue budget, ensuring continued investment in housing infrastructure, the enhancement of existing homes and the development of new affordable housing. She added, the 3.5% rent increase will support the delivery of a minimum of 409 additional council houses through new builds and open market acquisitions, with an average of £24.5 million per year being invested in the existing housing stock. The Council's preventative approach to managing rent arrears will help mitigate the impact of the rent increase. Housing officers will continue collaborating with the advice shop to help tenants maximise their income and improve budgeting skills. The Council's planned tenant engagement on the 4th year of the 5-year rent strategy is scheduled to commence from November and continue through to closure on the 31st of December. West Lothian Council rent rises have traditionally kept council rents below those of local housing association tenants, as well as below the rises imposed in neighbouring council areas. The 3.5% deal comes to an end for the 27-28 financial year, just ahead of the next council's elections.
Greggs has opened its new shop in Livingston, creating approximately 15 new jobs for the area. A report from Ross Thompson. The shop will stock freshly prepared Greggs favourites, such as the on-the-go retailer's popular sausage roll, steak bake and delicious vegan alternatives. With the festive season upon us, Greggs has now also launched its Christmas menu, including the popular Festive Bake and the Vegan Lattice Festive Edition, formerly known as the Vegan Festive Bake, along with the hot Christmas lunch baguette and hot festive flatbread. Customers can take advantage of Greggs deals throughout the day. The Livingston shop opens with a modern new look and comfortable indoor seating. The shop is open from 6:30am to 6pm daily. Gillian Long, Retail Operations Director for Greggs, said, "Our new shop in Livingston has brought 15 new jobs to the local area, as well as providing customers with a modern, convenient new place to experience their Greggs favourites."
I didn't think Christmas was possible with my brain tumour, then something unbelievable happened. Brave student Jocelyn shares her cancer journey to raise awareness. A Scottish student who believes she wouldn't see another Christmas after her brain cancer diagnosis is urging the public to support brain tumour research in finding a cure. Jocelyn Kerr, 20, was diagnosed in 2023 with an ultra-rare and aggressive brain cancer known as anaplastic pleomorphic xanthoastrocytoma, APXA, the first recorded case of its kind in Scotland. She underwent high-risk surgery at just 18, followed by chemotherapy and radiotherapy in 2024. When neither proved effective, she began a course of trial drugs, which have since delivered remarkable results. After an anxious start of the year, Jocelyn received the life-changing news that her brain tumour, which she nicknamed Pedro the PXA, has been extinguished by the trial drugs. Now Jocelyn is helping to raise awareness of the Brain Tumour Research Christmas Appeal, which is calling on the public to help fund pioneering research for brain tumour patients. Jocelyn said, "It was such an unbelievable thing to hear, as we never expected the crystallised core of Pedro to be dissolved by the drugs. However, it's so hard as you're always waiting for the but that usually follows positive news. This whole experience makes me scared to believe that any good news about my prognosis is really good news. But as my mum says, there's always a reason to smile." Currently in her third year at the University of Edinburgh studying astrophysics, Jocelyn continues to live life to the fullest and refuses to let her diagnosis define her. Although a small speck appeared on her most recent scan, which could indicate a new tumour or a stressed nerve, she remains positive. "My outlook on life wants me to believe it's just an anomaly," Jocelyn said. "I try to protect myself mentally and focus on enjoying life until I'm told otherwise. That's not to say that every now and then I don't get scared, but I have a truly strong and amazing backbone of family and friends to keep me standing. Brain tumours are indiscriminate. They can affect anyone at any age and kill more children and adults under the age of 40 than any other cancer. Yet just 1% of the national spend on cancer research has been allocated to brain tumours since records began in 2002. The appeal raises money to fund vital research, like that taking place in the Scottish Brain Tumour Research Centre of Excellence, a game-changing collaboration with Beatson Cancer Charity. The centre is focused on finding kinder treatments and ultimately a cure for the most aggressive and cancerous types of brain tumours. In 2024, Jocelyn was determined to make Christmas the best one ever, believing it could be her last. This year she is relishing the chance to celebrate another festive season, surrounded by family, whilst helping to raise funds and awareness of brain tumours. Jocelyn said, "Last year I had an amazing time in New Zealand with my uncle and cousins. This year I'm looking forward to our normal Christmas routine. Sometimes people want to make everything extra special, thinking it might be my last, but they can't get rid of me that easily. On Christmas Eve, I love making reindeer dust, having our gingerbread competition and all the usual madness. Christmas Day is for stockings, long walks with my dog Jasper and family games. It's all about being with the ones you love. That's why it's so important for me to support brain tumour research in its vision to find a cure for this disease. If I can make a difference and raise awareness for everyone out there who deserves to be heard and seen, then I feel honoured to be one of the faces of the charity's Christmas appeal. But everyone who has or had a brain tumour is special, amazing and deserves to have their name in lights." Ashley McWilliams, Community Development Manager at Brain Tumour Research, said Jocelyn's courage and positivity are truly inspiring. Her story highlights the urgent need for more investment into researching brain tumours so that more people can have the chance to celebrate many more Christmases to come. More than 100,000 people in the UK are estimated to be living with a brain tumour or the long-term impact of their diagnosis, yet research into the disease has been chronically underfunded. We are so grateful to Jocelyn for sharing her story and helping us raise awareness and urge everyone to donate on our mission so we can find a cure for this disease. To donate to Brain Tumour Research Christmas Appeal, visit https://donate.braintumourresearch.org/page/Christmas-appeal-25.
And that brings us to the end of part 3. Welcome back to part 4. We'll start with the answers to the quiz and then finish with some sports news. Okay, let's see how you did with our quiz today. Number 1. In which European country is the city of Maastricht? The answer is B, the Netherlands. Number 2. What drink is added to wine to make a traditional spritzer? The answer is A, soda water. Number 3. What is a factotum? And the answer is C, man of all work. Number 4. What is another name for a weevil? And the answer is A, snout beetle. Number 5. What does the word dichromatic means? And it means having 2 colours. Number 6. Which English novelist and journalist was born Mary Ann Evans in 1819? And the answer is B, George Eliot. Number 7. In football, Ewood Park is the home of which English club? And the answer is A, Blackburn Rovers. Number 8. Who directed the Oscar-winning 2017 American drama film Moonlight? And the answer is A, Barry Jenkins. Number 9. In which English county is the town of Stevenage? And the answer is C, Hertfordshire. And finally, number 10, Speaking Out, Lessons in Life and Politics is the autobiographical memoir of which MP? And the answer is A, Ed Balls. And finally, our word challenge. The word hodierno means A, pertaining to the present day. The word interscapular means between the shoulder blades. And I take my hat off to anyone who can use either of these words today in conversation. And now back to the sport. And this item is headed Subu Dreams a Dream for Scotland and is by Ross Thompson. West Lothian singing star Susan Boyle is getting back in the studio after being inspired by Scotland clinching a spot at next year's World Cup. Subo, 64, congratulated Steve Clarke's men on social media after the national team qualified for the tournament in North America with their 4-2 victory against Denmark at Hampden. Sharing a picture of herself recording new tracks, the singer said the win had kept her in high spirits. She said, Scotland's brilliant win on Tuesday and qualifying for next year's World Cup has kept my spirits high and given me inspiration in the studio. Well done to the lads, you did us proud. Speaking to STV, the former Britain's Got Talent star praised the atmosphere at Hampden earlier in the week. She said, I mean, you were just carried along with the atmosphere. It was really electric and it was very historical. Meanwhile, former Livingston striker Lyndon Dykes insisted making the squad for next summer's tournament would ease the pain of missing out on the 2024 European Championships due to injury. Dykes, who spent 1 full season in West Lothian before moving to QPR in a club record deal, did not play in Germany after an incident during their pre-tournament training camp. Dykes said, I want to play as many games for Scotland as possible. I want to make as many tournaments as possible, and obviously missing out on the Euros was a big blow. The way it happened as well really hurt a lot. To play in the World Cup, personally, I never even thought I'd have the opportunity to do that. It's such an amazing thing. I think what we've been through for the last number of years, we had the burden of the Euros, and we did that as a team. We got back-to-back Euros, and now the next thing is a World Cup. We deserve it as a team for what we've shown over the past number of years. Anyone wants to play in a World Cup because it's just the pinnacle of your career. Dyke said he has never actually contemplated the prospect of facing Australia, the country of his birth, at the finals. That would be quite good, he explained. I'm sure my sister, who's a gymnast, Holly, would be happy to see that one. Dyke says he has never actually contemplated the prospect of facing Australia, the country of his birth, at the finals. The 2026 World Cup kicks off in June at Mexico City Estadio Azteca and will be hosted across 16 cities in the United States, Mexico and Canada. The draw for the World Cup will take place on Friday, December the 5th.
Local football now from Paul Thompson. Headline reads, Rose have no fear of spiders. Linlithgow Rose boss Gordon Herd has called on gallant supporters to get right behind his team and help them cause a Scottish Cup upset on Friday night. Herd and his side welcome Championship outfit Queen's Park to Prestonfield for a huge clash under the lights and live on the BBC Scotland channel. 3 divisions separate the sides in the Scottish football pyramid, but Herd insists his charges, who are pushing for the Lowland League title this season, have nothing to fear from the Spiders. He said, it's a big occasion for the club and the players. It's not often you get on the TV. Playing a championship club, we've got nothing to lose and they will be massive favourites. Hopefully we can make it an uncomfortable night for them at Prestonfield, and we'll look for the crowd to get behind us, then see where it goes. We have got nothing to fear. Rose warmed up for the clash with a crunch clash at the top of the Lowland League, holding 10-man league leaders Clydebank to a 1-1 draw last Saturday. The Bankies went 1-0 up early in the second half before they were reduced to 10 men for denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity. That allowed Blair Henderson to tuck home the resultant penalty and earn the point that keeps the Gallant within 5 points of the summit with a game in hand. On the result, Herd said, I would say it's a fair result. I thought we were the better side for the last 15 minutes of the first half. It was 2 teams trying to play the right way. To come away from here with a point is not a bad result. It's not going to have a big say in where the title goes at this stage of the season. Meanwhile, Rose have announced that club stalwart Gary Tom has joined Camelin Juniors on a short-term loan deal. He is expected to return to Prestonfield in 2026.
Stonewall penalty snub is wee club syndrome. Livy boss slams SFA apology as useless and blasts officials after Rangers take 3 points. Rangers 2, Livingston 1. A report by Paul Thompson at Ibrox. Livy Livingston boss David Martindale slammed the decision to deny his side a penalty in a 2-1 loss to Rangers unjust, and he said an apology from the SFA won't help anyone. The lines were locked level at 1-1 midway through the first half when Tite Yengi's strike struck the arm of Emmanuel Ferdinands, who had opened the scoring after 9 minutes before Yengi cancelled that out. When the two came together in the box in the 21st minute, Yengi's strike struck the hand of the Rangers man, but referee Ross Hardy didn't point to the spot and VAR didn't intervene to tell the whistler to look at the monitor. That has also incensed Martindale, who claims it was Stonewall penalty and costs his side, currently propping up the Premiership a precious point or 3. Rangers went on to win the game through Mohamed Diomand's 78th minute strike, which had initially been ruled out for offside before being overturned. And Martindale blasted, I can't believe that is not a penalty. It is a Stonewall penalty. It can't keep going on like this. I can't understand why it is not a penalty, and I am not just the only manager this will happen to. This will happen to Danny at some point, I'm sure. There is some manager moaning about VAR every week and blatant decisions. Then you get an apology. An apology is not going to help me on Monday morning. An apology is not going to help that group. An apology is not going to give me a point to get up the table. An apology is not going to give me 3 points. I don't think they understand what is at stake. It is just flippant. Move on to next week. I don't think we can keep going down this road, and something has to change very, very quickly. I spoke to the ref and he said, get away from me or you're getting a red card. I thought there were 2 or 3 moments in the game today But the big one was a game-changing moment, was the penalty that we didn't get. Yes, we've still got to execute it, but it could potentially take the game to 2-1 and makes it all the more difficult for Rangers. The fans probably don't get their back as well, and would probably have given my players a bit more belief that we can get something from the game. I think Ferdinand, makes a motion towards the ball, so I am not agreeing with the natural position claim. You can see a bit of a motion towards the ball. It feels unjust. I should be sitting here talking about my players' performance, a big 3 points or a big point at Ibrox. The players were brilliantly defended, really well, and we still have an offensive threat within the game. Asked if he was surprised that the officials didn't take long to rule out a penalty for his side, Martindale added, "Honestly, no. The referee has not even had the benefit of going to look at the monitor. I am genuinely not surprised by that, and that is not good, eh? That's wrong. It feels like the wee club syndrome at times, and I don't want to feel like that, and I do feel like that now. That's how I feel. Would I feel better if the referee had the opportunity to look at the monitor himself? Probably. But I have also been in the other situation when the referee has been told to look at the monitor because he's made an error, but they've still given the penalty against us." In 8 minutes, Livy breathed a sigh of relief when a deflected Djedi Gassama cross took a wicked deflection and looped towards the back post, but Cristiano Montano did well to get at it and turn it behind. But from the resulting corner, Rangers went in front. James Tavernier swung in the corner, and then Emmanuel Ferdinand caught Danny Wilson napping, catching a march on his marker to burst towards the near post. He rose superbly to power the ball into the far corner. Livy levelled in 18 minutes. The Lions went route one, but it was a superb ball over the top from Stevie May, which put Tete Yengi through. An incredible first touch from the Aussie put him right on in Butland, and he managed to slide the ball past the Rangers' number 1 to silence Ibrox. 3 minutes later, Livy threatened to take the lead. Rangers didn't deal with a ball in the box, but when it popped up for Pittman, he touched it into the path of Yengi. He turned the ball goalwards, but Ferdinand's got a vital block in. Visitors claimed the Rangers man used an arm to block the shot, but nothing came back of it, not even a VAR check. Martindale's men had a huge let-off early in the second half when Gassama missed a glorious opportunity to get the hosts back in front. The Lions got caught on the break, and when Mivoski raced forward, he cut back and then slipped in Gassama. Instead of taking in the shot first time, Gassama cut back and curled the ball past the post. Livy went straight up the other end and spurned a huge chance of their own when Yengi went through one-on-one with Butland. The strikers seemed to have the whole left-hand side of the goal to aim for, but chose to try and slip it past Butland to the right-hand side, and the Englishman made a fine stop with his outstretched leg to deny the Lions a certain goal. Rangers had the ball in the net in 78 minutes when a long ball over the top to Majowski was just missed by the striker, but it was enough to put Jermone Pryor off, and when the loose ball slipped through to Mohamed Diomad, who, expecting an offside call, slowly slotted the ball into the back of the net. The offside call did come, but after a VAR check. The goal was allowed to stand and Rangers regained the lead. As time ran out, Robbie Muirhead blasted over from a good position and Livy left empty-handed. Reflecting on the 90 minutes, Martindale felt his side weren't officiated evenly during the scrappy contest at Ibrox. The Lions gaffer added, "My goalie gets booked for wasting time. We'll take that one on the chin. Rangers go 2-1 up and Butland is wasting time. It doesn't go the same way. It needs to be the same for both teams. I just felt it wasn't the case today. We have got to defend the second goal better. The first one we take on the chin because the ball in is fantastic, and I don't know what size Ferdinand is. We scored a really good goal ourselves. We worked on it in training, believe it or not, but when we have the penalty, that wasn't, and we have a big moment when Tete Yengi goes one-on-one with Butland, we don't execute that properly, so very frustrating."
We've now come to the end of this week's recording, and we hope you've enjoyed it. As this is Group 5's last session of the year, we hope Santa will be good to everyone and wish everyone a good new year. We'll be back, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, in 2026. Till then, stay safe, stay well.